and welcome to episode 34 of the Little House Knits podcast. My name is Michelle, also known as Scully B on Ravelry. You can also find me on Instagram as McTuck76. Hello, how have you been? It's been a little bit longer than I anticipated between episodes this time. Had some family stuff come up, so I wasn't really in a great place to record an episode, so unfortunately I am late. But I am very happy to see you. So if you're new, welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much. It's nice to see you again. So let's see. What's been happening? What's been happening with you? Hopefully all good stuff. Nothing too dramatic. It's October. I'm sure you know that, but it's October, and I don't know. You get to a certain point in the year, and you're like surprised that it's this late in the year, this time of year again already. So, oh my goodness. Anyway, so what's been up? Not too much. Not last week. A few weeks ago, actually, just after I recorded last time, there is a little farm up the street from here. They have like a flea market, craft fair type of thing twice a year. So my husband was doing it, and I figured I would just go up and hang out with him for the day. And I'm sure, as we all do, I have a box of just finished objects that have no home. All those hats I was working on. I just took them up just to see if anybody was interested, and I figured, it's late September. It's like going to be October in a couple of days, and people will probably be thinking hats because it's been so cool. And then, of course, that day it was like 80-something degrees, so no one was thinking hat or cowl or anything else. So I made a few bucks. It put some gas in my tank. But I spent a nice day with my husband. And there was a miniature horse there. It was so cute. I'm sure I've seen one before, but I think it was a super long time ago. And it was just so cute. I was taller than it. I don't get to be taller than a lot of things. So it was good. It was a really nice day. And then what else? What else do I have written down here? My oldest got his first job. And I am happy for him, but at the same time, it's sort of, he's fighting adulthood, and I'm sort of encouraging him on his path to adulthood, but at the same time, in my head, I'm like, do you have to grow up? Do you have to get a job? Do you have to learn to drive? Which, of course, he does. But, he's excited, and I'm excited for him. He actually got a job at a place he wants to work, which, I mean, for your first job, not many people can say that. I know my first job was at Dunkin' Donuts, and I wasn't, like, super excited about donuts or anything. Not putting them down, but but it wasn't, like, my dream job. So he's a big computer kid, and he likes to build them, and he likes to talk about them, and it's like he's speaking another language when he talks to me about it, but it makes him happy. So he's going to be working at Best Buy, where he can, in theory, talk to people about their computers all day long if he gets the chance. So so that's good. And then last weekend, I was going to record last weekend because I was really excited. I went to the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival, which is up in Turnbridge, Vermont, which is about 2 hours northwest of here. Because I think I had mentioned this last time, my anniversary is always Rhinebeck weekend. So I have gone the past 2 years, and our anniversary is on a Friday this year, so my husband had asked me to refrain, which I think is the least I can do. He's gone to Rhinebeck with me a few times, so you know, um, so we're gonna have a fancy dinner at a fancy place. You know, never is. It's a. Oh, I can't get my words straight anymore. It's a really pretty, picturesque restaurant, um, not too far from us, where they raise their own cattle, and it's a steakhouse, I guess, but it's beautiful, and there's like an old castle on the property, and you can walk out to that and take pictures there, and it's just really pretty. And um, my husband is very excited about chicken pot pie. I was like, I can make you chicken pot pie. But no, he's excited, and it'll be a nice night out. So no Rhinebeck for me this year. So instead, I got up super early, and I drove up to Vermont. I had a nice day to myself, um, and it was beautiful. Um, it's I've never officially been to Vermont before. I've lived in Massachusetts my whole life, and I've been to New Hampshire, Maine, and Connecticut. I've never been to Rhode Island, really. Um, I've never been to Vermont. So I drove up, and it was at this beautiful little. It was a farm, basically. I think it's their fairgrounds, but it looked they had barns and stuff, just like Rhinebeck, except on a much smaller scale. But when you look around you, you're basically in a bowl, and there's just mountains all around you, and it's just beautiful. So, and the weather was perfect. It was chilly, and you couldn't have asked for a better day. You really couldn't have. It was cool enough that if you had knit a sweater for it, you'd be fine. Um, but it was really nice, and I got some goodies there that I am going to show you. And like I said, I did want to record that night, but when I was driving home, we had some relatives visiting from out of state for a family funeral memorial, really, on my husband's side of the family, and they wanted to get together and have dinner that night, so there just wasn't time. And um, between getting up at like 4:30 on Saturday morning and being up really late Saturday night, by Sunday I was just wiped out. I decided I could lay in bed for a good chunk of the morning, so I didn't get to record. So I am here now, and I am very glad that you are here. Um, so I don't have a lot in the way of finished objects, and we'll explain why in a moment. I'm going to start with the easy thing first. My younger son still goes out for Halloween. My older son decided around 10 or 11 that he was too cool for Halloween. But I was like, it's free candy, right? Like, you just have to ring a doorbell and it's free candy. He's a big sweet tooth kid, but no, he's not interested. He's always hoping that when I hand out candy, there'll be leftovers. So we'll see. But my other son, he goes out with his friends, and last year he was Link from The Legend of Zelda. And apparently there are lots of different versions of Link, which I didn't know because I don't do video games. I never really have. So last year he made his own costume, and he was pretty proud of it. And this year he is pretty much doing that again, but he needed a hat. And I was lucky enough to find a hat pattern on Ravelry, which I would have been shocked if I couldn't. So we've got this. It's basically an elf hat with a little bit of just sewn on lace detail. And he said it was very important that his hat match his shirt. So we had to pick out his shirt first and bring it with us to the yarn aisle at Walmart. So this is just some Red Heart Super Saver, which I'm kind of bummed out because I had some in stash. I'm trying to get rid of the acrylic that I have, but we weren't positive it was the same color, so I just bought another one, and it matches great, and he's very happy with it. So that is finished object number one. I should say last time I showed a bunch of projects that I had found that just needed ends woven in. Um, so I had like a baby sweater, which actually turned out great because one of the relatives that we saw last weekend, we didn't know that she had recently just adopted a baby. And it's always nice to have those baby gifts on hand. So I couldn't tell you the last time I held a baby, but oh, it was so great. I miss that little snuggle bug feeling. So we get to see him and visit with him, and he got a nice little sweater and some socks out of it. So I got that woven in. There was another pair of socks and a pair of fingerless mitts, and I got all my ends woven in, and I'm feeling pretty good about clearing out the finished objects, like finished, like ends woven in, all the knitting's done, everything. So that being said, the only other thing that I was really focusing on was a Christmas stocking for my husband. And he had picked out the yarn, which I had showed you last time, with some Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, in some very appropriate to him colorways, red and green, and then we had a debate over the white-ish color. So I had started it, and the reason this took me so long, and the reason I don't have many more finished objects, is I knit this and ripped out and reknit and then put that aside and started over. My perfectionist tendency, I guess. I think I get it from my dad. He comes from a long line of carpenters, and he builds furniture, and he is very good at it, but he does not know that. He built this bookcase once, and I was like, I love it. Like, if you don't have any room for that someday, I want it. And he goes, oh, it's crap. Like, okay. All right. So I'm not going to say this is crap. I don't think it's crap, but I wanted it to be just right. So I spent a lot of time sort of reworking the little bit of color work. I was like, you don't want color work all over? He's like, no, just one band. So this is his Christmas stocking, and it's been folded up for about 2 weeks now. So it's kind of, I have to block it. And I was thinking, what I may do is just an I-cord edging along the top, so I can put a loop so we can hang it up. But yeah, so it's not too bad. There's a little jog there, but we'll just put that side against the wall when we hang them up. But yeah, considering I'm still sort of honing my color work skills, I think it's not crap. So there you go. He hasn't actually seen it yet. He's been with me almost the whole time I've been knitting it, but he hasn't really looked at it enough to see that it's done or that it's finished or what it looks like. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to reknit that. I don't think it's quite right, but it's never going to be perfect. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to mean something, and it does. So yeah, so that's done. That's pretty much it. I was going down my list of whips to try to get them all done, and this one kills me. I don't know. Like, I want to say 7 or 8 years ago. No, was it longer? No, 7 or 8 years ago sounds right. I had knit a couple of Hogwarts scarves for a girl I work with, one for her and one for her sister to give her as a Christmas gift. And another girl that I worked with said, oh, I want a big color blocky scarf like that too. And I said, oh, sure, what colors do you want? And she said purple and gray, and I did it, and then she didn't really work with us anymore. So I had started the scarf already, and I just sort of put it away. And I've decided it is just time to be done with it. So the knitting is all done, and I have, let's see, I have 3 blocks to weave the ends in on, which really isn't bad. But it is nice and long, so it's taller than me. And this again is, I think, Vanna's choice, because, you know, she didn't want to pay a lot for the scarf, and considering she left before it was even halfway done, I think I might send it to work with my husband. He works with middle schoolers, so somebody might love that. So we'll see. But it's done. If I can't find anyone at his school to take it, I will donate it, because it's pretty substantial. It's nice and thick. So just got to weave in the ends, and then this baby is done. So that's that. And then I was looking through the rest of my whips, and I don't have that many that aren't blankets left. The only other thing that I had was I had bought a kit two Rhinebeck's ago. I bought a kit from Dirty Water Dye Works for on the spice market, and I had started it, and this is a cautionary tale for why you should just finish things when you start them. I had started it, and I know that I had a copy of the pattern that I was marking, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I have a binder with patterns that I print out, and I just went in there and I grabbed the pattern, and my marked up copy wasn't in there, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I was sort of going back and looking at what I had already done, which really wasn't that much. I had probably gotten, like, I think you start with you have 6 contrast colors and then a main color. So I think I had started at the tip, at the smallest part, and I think I had only got 4 or 5 sections in, so it wasn't very long. And I was going back and I was trying to see where I had sort of left off, and I figured it out. But then I just couldn't get it to work. I was doing the section, and you're supposed to repeat so many times and increase so many stitches, and I did the whole section, and I don't know how I didn't actually increase any stitches. So I pulled it back and I did it again, and then it was just I don't know what happened. I want to knit the On the Spice Market, but I was getting so frustrated that I just decided to sort of rip the whole thing out. I frogged the whole thing, which, when I say the whole thing, it was less than 12 inches of knitting. So, and it was a triangle, so it still wasn't that much to rip out. That being said, I still like the colors, and I still wanted to do something. So, I know I had said originally that what I was going to do was finish my husband's stocking and then start swatching for my sweater. But then it dawned on me that next month is November, so it's Nanny Swimo, and I thought that's when I should be knitting my sweater, is in November. So I decided that while I did frog my On the Spice Market, and it is no longer technically a whip, I do want a scarf, because it gets chilly at work, and I have a color affection that I wear almost all the time. So this way I'll have something different to wear. So again, this is Dirty Water Dye Works. So this would have been the main color, and I believe it's March Mist, I think. I'm not sure. Let me see. Oops. Dropping things here. Dirty Water Dye Works. The Lucia base, which is 75.25. And the name of the colorway is March Sky. So that's that. And then I don't know if you're going to be able to see this super good. But these, not this little blip of gray here. These are the contrast colors. And the pattern that I am using is one that I love, and it's just potato chip knitting. It just goes so quick, and it's 2 rows, and it's easy to memorize, and I love it. So it's the Pembroke scarf, which is a free pattern. And of course, I don't have the name of the designer right in front of me, but it is the Pembroke scarf. And if you're looking for something sort of quick or that doesn't require too much thinking, like, commuter knitting or waiting room knitting, it's the perfect pattern. The only, it is a free pattern. I think I said that, but let me see. The only modification, if it's even worth calling it a modification, is on the right side. I have put, I don't know if you can really see it. I put a yarn over at the beginning of the row, and then when I come back on the wrong side, I just drop the yarn over. So it gives it kind of a nice little edging, I guess. But yeah, so that's what's currently on my needles, and I am really hoping to get through that this month so I can get a huge imaginary points bonus in the Harry Potter House Cup. So that is what is on my needles. And now I'm going to show you my pretties because there's quite a few of them. Actually, the first one I'll just show you. I had heard about this yarn, and I was thinking, I think I had mentioned a few episodes back that my plan for next year is charity knitting, which is where I think I'm going to end up using some of my acrylic yarn for Mother Bear Project Bears, because they do ask for something easy care and washable, which acrylic is. The other charity that I have knit for in the past, and I would like to knit for again, is Knitted Knockers. I can't get left and right. So Knitted Knockers. And I didn't specifically buy this yarn for that, but when I was looking at it, I noticed it says that it is approved by them. So that's good because this is easy to get. Before I was buying the Knit Picks Cotton, so I'd have to buy it and ship it. And this way I can just go up to Joann's or Walmart and they have it. So this is Lion Brand, and it's Kobu. And it is 50% cotton, 50% rayon from bamboo. So I got this. I got it in 2 sort of neutrally tones like this for the charity knitting. And then I figured I would test it out by making a couple of dishcloths as Christmas gifts, maybe. So I got this white and this gray and this magenta. Just pops, especially with the gray. I love it. Also, I would like to knit myself a summer top, and I thought this would be inexpensive and easy. So I think it was $4 at Joann's. So it's super, super soft. It's really nice. So that was good. Next are my goodies from the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival. So I have a couple of mini skein blankets going, so I'm always looking for new little bits to put in there. So this was the first thing when I walked into any of the sort of vending areas. That's pretty close. It's a little ultraviolet. Like it almost looks blacklighty. But it's pretty neat and I like it. So there's that. And then I just thought this was a really pretty sort of soft, sparkly rainbow. So I got that too. Then I should preface this by saying that the only thing I was going to buy was, I have a multicolored skein of yarn that I was going to use to make some socks for my husband for Christmas maybe, or for Valentine's Day, depending on when they're done. Needless to say, I came home with nothing for that. But the good thing is that I was going through my yarn today to pull something else out, And I realized I already have a skein that would match it perfectly. So now I'm good to go, which is nice. A little frustrating, but I did get a really nice morning out. So I'm not going to complain. But as I was walking, um, I was coming down the aisle, and um, this one particular vendor had little bins just on the outside of their little canopy. And I saw it and I said, neon. And I practically ran. So she had mini skein sets. Look at this. It's like a pack of highlighters. Amazing. I love it. This is Fiber Stash Dye Works. And this is Neon Rainbow in their Strong Toes sock yarn, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. So I thought this was amazing. So, of course, this was on the outside of the booth. So I had to go in and look. And then I saw this. And I know, you're thinking you just got that in a mini skein. But my son loves this color. I should take a picture someday, post that on Instagram of his little closet thing. Most of his shirts are this color. This is his favorite color. And really, I bought it. I figured I could make him socks or whatever. The thing that got me is when he was younger, he asked me if I would knit him a sweater. And I said, what is your favorite color? What color do you want? And he says, I love traffic cone orange. And they actually have named it traffic cone. I had to. So I got this. And I may have spent a little more than I should have. But I'm counting it as Christmas. My husband was kind and he actually gave me a little cash to spend. So who am I to say no? But anyway, then I found the booth for 100 Ravens, and I fell in love with everything in there. They had just buckets of mini skeins, and I wanted all of them. But I figured I was in Vermont, and it was a beautiful fall day, and all the mountains around me had trees that were changing colors, and I saw this. And I said, yeah, that's what I need. So I got this. And this is a gradient set. Let's see. Superwash. 100% merino wool. Superwash. And this is their Into the Woods colorway, I guess. And so I was thinking this needs to be a shawl because I may go to Rhinebeck next year. And sometimes it's not always fall weather when you go to Rhinebeck. Sometimes it's hot. So I love the idea of a Rhinebeck sweater, but I like the practicality of a Rhinebeck shawl or scarf a little more. So I found this, and then I was like, I need a brown. That's what I need. And I found, I don't know how to pronounce this, Achos. I'm sure someone out there knows how to pronounce it, but I do not. Ayako Space, which is the same, 100% merino superwash wool. And this is the rum colorway. And you know you've made a good decision when you bring this to the register and the person working the booth just looks at it and goes, yes, yes, yes. So that's what happened. So this is going to be something someday. So this is 400 yards, and this is also 400 yards. So I've got 800 yards to play with. I think I can make it work. Oh my goodness. So that's that. That's everything. That's all I've got. But it's not everything that I wanted to say. So one last thing. I would like to do a knit along. And I meant to record this earlier in the month, and I didn't. And I actually, if I'm remembering correctly, I believe October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I was thinking, oh, I had my mammogram this month. I'm going to record it today and announce it today, and then, life, whatever. So I would like to do just a quick little knit along. I'm not going to be hard and fast with this. Just finish something by the end of October. Finish whatever you like. Finish a dishcloth. Finish a pair of socks. Finish whatever you like. So I am going to, today is October 13th. So we'll say October 31st. October 31st. Come on, Michelle, what are you doing? November 2nd. I'm going to say November 2nd because that is more than likely the next time I would be podcasting. So we'll say November 2nd. So I will lock the thread at midnight or whatever on the 2nd. And this lovely skein of knitted wet victory sock in the Be Mine colorway. It is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 420 yards. I figured it was appropriate for the month. So I know we don't have a super lot of people in the group right now, so your chances are pretty good. Certainly if you'd like to tell a friend what they have the opportunity to win, you can let them know as well. Yeah, how about that? If you have no, I don't know. That doesn't even make sense. I was going to say, if you tell a friend, you can enter twice, but I'm not going to know if you told a friend, so. So, I don't know. So this is what's up for grabs. If you're interested, just finish something. If it's already on your needles, just finish it. That's all you got to do. Heed my advice about that on the spice market. If you started it, just finish it. Just finish it. But that's it for me. I feel like I was a bit long-winded. I apologize for that. But yeah, that's it. It was so good to talk to you.